The Mishnah starts with Megillah Perek Bet Mishnah Aleph. Over here in this Mishnah, I'm going to discuss reading the Megillah. Right, there are different ways, or we'll see different laws when it comes to reading the Megillah. And over here, we're going to get into a few of those details. And Rambam has a elaborate pirush over here in this Mishnah. So I quote the Megillah Lemafreya Lo Yatsa. Someone reads the Megillah Lemafreya. Right, he reads it out of order. Lo Yatsa. It doesn't count. It doesn't count as reading the Megillah. You need to read something in order, right? The same way the pasuk says, right? These the things, the things in the Megillah, nizkarim v'na'asim, right? They're they're remembered and they're done. In the same way, a person can't do something, you can't do something that's already done, right? Over here also, you need to read it in the proper order. Okay. Now the Mishnah continues. Kira'a al peh, you read it by heart. Right? Someone knows the whole Megillah by heart. Could you read it by heart? No, I'm going to say no. Or kira'a targum b'chol lashon, right? Or someone, right? He knows Hebrew, but he's reading it in a different language, any other language other than Hebrew. Lo yatsa, right? It doesn't count. Lo yatsa. Now Rambam explains over here. One is you need to read it from a sefer, right, from Megillah itself. We learned this from when it says the word zikaron, right? Ketov zot zikaron basefer. We're just talking about Amalek. The same we have to read over there from Sefer Torah. Over here also when it says Nizkarim, right? These things are Nizkarim. So we learn from that same language that also needs to be read from a book, right? From a Megillah, from something written. Now, when we're talking about any other language, so the Mishnah Rambam explains over here that if someone doesn't understand Hebrew, we're talking about someone who understands Hebrew, he has to read it in Hebrew or in Greek. That works, right? Yevani, we mentioned this a little bit earlier. Yevani works. And this is really because of the language of Greek. It was originally for Talmud, right? It was translated. The Torah was translated into Greek, and because it was translated, the Torah was translated for Talmud the king. So it became a language of something respectable, right? And Rambam says over here that Greek would be allowed. Rabbeinu HaKadosh mentions this also, so that would be allowed. So it's any other language other than Greek, lo yatsa. Aval, what can you do? If someone does not understand, right, does not understand Hebrew, then you could read it to them in their language, right? But it needs to be from something written, right? So you want to read in English, you could read it in English to someone who only understands English. And there would be yotzeh. That would work, but you need to read it from a Megillah in English. That's written in English. Now, someone who speaks another language, right, doesn't speak Hebrew, right, but he heard it in Ashurit. Ashurit is Hebrew, right? Hebrew is written in Assyrian letters, so we call it Ashurit, right? So someone who doesn't understand Hebrew, but he heard it in Hebrew, even though he doesn't understand, yatsa. Right? He is Yotzeh. And Rambam is an interesting perush over here, and he goes, even if he doesn't know every single word, he understands the concept. He understands, right? The Jew who's reading it understands the concept of the Megillah, and therefore he is Yotzeh.